Kia ora, Laila, thank you so much for talking to Occupy New Zealand. What an incredible night that was. Your speech was really standout and the crowd was enthusiastic, and I was really touched by what you said. I'm just curious, what is the one message that you really want to give out to New Zealand people tonight?
The message I want to give out is that change is possible on September the 20th. Internet Mana is jolting New Zealand into a sense of possibility and hope in the selection campaign. And I can feel that momentum building, and I believe that we will see the election of a progressive government on September the 20th.
Oh, we're certainly hoping so. And there's definitely been a huge following for you guys nationwide, and a lot of people were sceptical, but it's pretty clear now that you have shaken up the establishment. They're starting to get pretty worried about you guys.
Well, there's been a series of smears in the last little while, and I guess that's part of the course when you have a government that has been very comfortable in assuming that it is going to be re-elected in September, and is now beginning to get the message from a lot of New Zealanders that they're deeply unhappy with the way things are going. We're feeling that mood in full halls around the country. There was another full town hall in Invercargill tonight, and you know, this is indicative of a move for change, a move that I think was really beneath the surface before Internet Mana came along. We have triggered that reaction, and now people feel okay about saying they want to see a change of government.
I can tell you for sure that the activist community is beginning to feel like they have real representation now, and we had felt quite exposed and quite alone for a long time, but now we're finding huge numbers coming to the fore. And whereas in the old days we used to rely on labour union and unions to really fill up those numbers, now even the marches and the events that aren't supported by labour or by the unions are pulling numbers into the thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Why do you think that is?
Well, I hope that the inspiration that Internet Mana is providing is part of that. But also, look, you guys have been organising for a long time. You've been making connections, building networks, and it takes a whole combination of things to trigger a real movement. And, you know, I just think we're hitting that level now where there is a great combination in place with people in the community who are organising at the grassroots, with those of us who are putting ourselves forward as candidates in a disruptive political movement. I think that there is a line-up of constellations here, and that change is really possible in September. I also know that, you know, we will have a small presence in Parliament after September, but what we will have is a big connection with the community and with activists who work in the community. We can stop the TPPA, we can turn over the Sky City deal, but we can't do it on our own, and we will need to keep building this movement after Election Day.
I particularly appreciated your comments about the GCSB, how serious it is, what's been done to New Zealanders with the warrantless surveillance, and that you supported a full inquiry and that you really wanted to hold those people to account. Now, we had some really huge nationwide movement, protests last year against the GCSB, but we've seen no real impact. I was just having a very interesting conversation with a National Party supporter where they were saying, you know, nothing to fear, nothing to hide. And what I said to them is that I believe that that kind of surveillance should be reserved for, say, for example, people like the Roastbusters, for real criminals. But it does seem that the spying has not been on people like the Roastbusters, it's been politically motivated. Why do you think that after all the uproar we have zero Roastbusters arrests despite all this huge spy apparatus?
Well, I mean, that's a disgrace, and the fact that our New Zealand police failed to investigate, failed to pursue the complaints in that case is an absolute disgrace. And those young women who were the victims of that behaviour deserve to have those matters taken a lot more seriously, and to be, for the people who have been involved, to be accountable. In terms of the illegal spying, We know from the Kitteridge report that at least 88 New Zealanders have been illegally spied on by the GCSB. Only one of those, Kin.com, knows who he is. We are going to have a Royal Commission which gets to the bottom of that spying, which looks at the role of our intelligence services and which develops proper mechanisms for oversight of the GCSB. We don't want to be part of the global warrantless surveillance system that the Five Eyes Agreement represents. We don't want to be a hub for spying on innocent people around the world, and we don't want our citizens spied on in this way. This is a really serious issue. It's one that the Prime Minister is in the habit of brushing off, and we all have private lives, we all have private thoughts and communications, and we must protect New Zealand citizens from this kind of mass surveillance. It's a very real threat.
Also, in one of the... Oh, sorry, just quickly, one more question. In one of the documents leaked by Edward Snowden, one of the internal NSA memos, it said that they are not concerned by electoral politics because only a handful of people in each country have access to the spying apparatus. How can we end that subversion of our democratic process?
Well, first of all, we need proper oversight of our intelligence agencies. We need to review the requirement for intelligence services, what we actually want to protect New Zealanders from with these operations, and there needs to be a cutting down of their powers and an increase in oversight in order to achieve that.
Awesome, and then hopefully we can finally catch the roastbusters. Thank you so much.
Thank you.